Hi, I'm Max Spainhour.
And I'm Troy McCormick. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. I'm Troy McCormick, and today we've got an episode where we're going to get wet. And no, we didn't get caught out in a rainstorm, and we didn't capsize a boat or anything like that. We're going scuba diving. But it's not your regular kind of scuba diving. One of our pro staff members, Hack Albertson, is a member of the Paralyzed Veterans of America. And I had a chance to go with Hack to go tag along on an adventure where he's learning to get his scuba diving certification. Now, I've got my advanced open water diving certification, and I've got a new underwater camera I was itching to try out. The Paralyzed Veterans of America, working with the Veterans Hospital over in St. Louis, Missouri, has a really great program that not only uses scuba as a way of physical therapy, but it's a great program to get our paralyzed veterans into the water and under the water. They work with their classes to get their students, one, to not only get comfortable with getting in the water, getting scuba equipment on, but they get them certified so they can too do their open water dive and get out and go scuba diving, whether it's down in the Florida Keys or Cozumel, Mexico, or maybe like me, a lot of gravel quarries in Indiana, or shipwreck diving on Lake Superior. It's a chance to get these guys, these men and women, underwater and certified with their scuba certificate. Let's join in as Hack goes through. He's finished his coursework, his book work, but he's in the pool getting his chance to get his equipment on and to get wet. And let's talk to his instructor, Charlie Wright.
So my name is Charlie Wright. I'm a recreation therapist here at the Veterans Administration here in St. Louis at Jefferson Barracks. I work in the spinal cord unit as a rec therapist, and we brought in this really cool program called Lifewater Vets. It's a disabled scuba program for our spinal cord injury veterans. So we work with paraplegics, quadriplegics, inpatient and outpatient. So we see quite a few veterans in the general area, but we have surrounding states that veterans come and use our services, medical services and recreation. Lifewaters is a program that is designed to expose a disabled person to the water and into the world of scuba. We take our disabled divers underwater in the pool with specialized gear, with specialized divers, to let them experience a wonderful freeless kind of underwater experience that you can't feel on top of the world here in your chair. It's a totally different experience, and it's the most exciting thing to see when you see a kid, an adult, coming from their chair that's been in their chair for 12 hours that day, in it every day, and to get them in the water and put a set of scuba gear on them, and just to see their eyes just wide open when they hit the water, it's the best thing ever. And that's just the pool. Just imagine what it's like when you hit the Caribbean and you see that coral life below you and all the fish. You are not looking through a fish tank anymore. You're actually part of the fish tank, which is really cool. Scuba is a great equalizer. You really do get to see some really cool things happen underwater. So you see our veterans will be coming in, our quads and our paras, they'll roll in on the boat. But when you get underwater, it's really hard to distinguish who the disabled person is and who the able-bodied person is. There are things that we do look at, and some of that is the propulsion through the water. So some of our veterans require 1, 2, sometimes 3 volunteers, dive buddies, to help them get through the water. But we try to keep them as independent as possible.
Is most of your work here in the pool, or do you also take trips?
So we take a lot of our veterans here in the pool here at Jefferson Barracks, but we also do the open water just like any able-bodied diver. They go through the same training. So there's a pool session, and then we take them into open water, and typically in this area we go to Mermet Springs, which is in Metropolis, Illinois. It's a great little place there because they have a lot of adaptations there where we can take our wheelchair users in, and it's accessible.
And how do you get students in and out of the water, and who helps get them their equipment?
We take our veterans into the water. We use lifts, we use buddies for transfers. It really depends on the situation. When we're on boats, we have multiple people. We have the boat crew. There are lifts that we do to save shoulders, and we look at the safety piece. It's really important. We want to preserve the shoulders and protect their skin. So we use a lot of thermo, like 3 mils, 7 mils. Those are those sweatsuits you see everyone wear. That really does protect our spinal cord divers.
People normally think that scuba diving is just for the rich and the elite, the people that can afford to go to like the Caribbean and go scuba diving.
So scuba diving has really gotten to be a sport that everyone can get into. There's multiple levels that you can get committed to. With our veterans here, we do our best that the veteran doesn't pay anything to get certified. We provide all the equipment, we provide all the training, we provide the instruction. Anything you really need to get certified in open water, we provide to our spinal cord veterans.
Stay tuned and we'll be right back with more Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Offering basic to advanced obedience training, housebreaking, and behavior modification for your hunting dog or household pet. Shannon Dog Training is your full-service training center. We provide pet training, detection training, and kennel facilities. We specialize in detection dogs for narcotics, cell phones, arson, and cadaver dogs used by jails, prisons, and security centers. Shannon Dog Training can provide you with total off-leash control for a dependable working dog or well-behaved pet. After serving our country, serious injury shouldn't prevent our veterans from enjoying life. Paralyzed Veterans of America works with veterans to ensure that their health care and benefit needs are met, provides assistance with career needs, and offers challenging and rewarding activities. The Kentucky and Indiana chapter of PVA is also proud to provide adaptive sports and activities for its members. Paralyzed Veterans of America depends on the public's generosity to support its programs. Make your donation today and help give back to our nation's paralyzed heroes. The Old Goat Trading Post in Bloomingdale, Indiana offers not only traditional fur hides, hats, and mountain man-like apparel, but beautifully crafted spirit hides. Artistically sculpted from elk, moose, deer, and buffalo hides, they are the perfect wall hanging for your home or vacation cabin. The shaved hair sculpture and original painted scenes combine to create a natural canvas and work of art. Visit www.oldgoattrading.com for more information. Looking for adventure? Marengo Cave has it all. Explore the underground wonders of Marengo Cave with our 2 easy walking tours, or go on an adventurous cave exploring trip with hard hats and lots of mud. Kids will love discovering gemstones at the Cave Springs mining flume. This U.S. National Natural Landmark has been open to the public since 1883 and provides breathtaking views of underground cave formations. Visit us online at marengocave.com and plan your visit today. Life Essentials in Brookston, Indiana provides the products you need to become more independent. Products like our Journeyman wheelchair provide all-terrain access for the hunter and all-around outdoorsman. Every year, thousands of people are born with or acquire disabilities. Whether your special needs are for residential, commercial, agricultural, or just enjoying the outdoors once again, we customize our lifts and mobility products to fit your needs. We're raising you to new heights. Call today and we'll work with you to take back your life. Follow Indiana Outdoor Adventures online with Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Stay up to date with our exciting adventures as we're out in the field filming and meeting new people. from news updates and announcements to Twitter posts by co-host Troy McCormick. Why wait until the next season of shows when you can follow us as we're filming them? Join us online to get the most current news on Indiana Outdoor Adventures. We're back with Indiana Outdoor Adventures, and we're in St. Louis, Missouri today, and we're with Charlie Wright and working on Hack's scuba diving certification. And we're going to get back in the water and work some more on his skills.
Great. So with Hack, we're working with getting his open water certification. So we look at all the skills that we would teach anyone else in the water. We don't modify any of the skills. With Hack specifically, he has gone through all the skills with very minimal changes with the skill itself. He completed everything, and we're getting ready to take him in the open water and actually do the skills as if he was an able-bodied person. The only difference is he rolls in and gets next to the water. Once he's in the water, he's just like you and me, just doesn't have fins.
Tell us how many dives you have to do to get your certificate. Explain a couple of the mask off and on, the regulator out of the mouth type skills you have to learn.
So he will do the same skills he does in the pool in the open water. Some of those skills will be flooding your mask and clearing them. He does that very well. Taking the mask off, swimming around. He will take off his BC, we call it the buoyancy compensators, that jacket you wear that has all the weight and all that. He actually takes that off, puts that on. All the different skills that we do to prep a diver for open water, Hack does in the pool.
Therapeutically, is scuba good for the muscles? Does it provide a sense of freedom for these paralyzed individuals? What are the true mental and physical benefits of this kind of a scuba program?
So there's a huge benefit that's physical and mental with our divers that have spinal cord injury. The first, most obvious thing is we're getting out of that chair and getting in an environment, getting away from all that weight and the gravity that pulls you down. We get them in the water and it equalizes everything. They start to float like they're in space. A lot of our vets, they get to stretch out. It's a mental thing too. It's that freedom of just getting out, controlling themselves, having that complete independence as much as possible. We try as buddies, try to be invisible to them as much as possible. We want them to experience as much independence as possible. And again, internally being underwater with the pressure, you know, circulation is improved. Just the general properties of the water really is beneficial.
Part of learning how to use scuba equipment and to get your certification, you have to go through these different, it's almost like challenges, if you will. You've got to learn how to take your mask off underwater, put it back on, tilt it back to clear the water out of it. You have to learn what to do in case your regulator freezes up or your tank runs out of air and you need to get your buddy over to help you with it. You also have to learn how to take your buoyancy compensator vest off and put it back on, all this underwater. Now, to do that, anybody, whenever you go diving, you should always have a dive buddy with you. Now, our paralyzed divers sometimes require one or two certified divers just in case, like any of us, there'd be a problem. Well, Charlie was working with Hack and then went to work with another diver, and I got appointed as Hack's dive buddy. Now, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of responsibility when you're a dive buddy for anybody. But Hack and I had a really good time. We worked on our hand signals. We worked on, we got to play with some toys they had underwater. They had a little torpedo you could pass back and forth. But it was just kind of the fun and camaraderie of getting to share some time underwater.
Lifewaters has been around since 1999. We started a nonprofit in Arizona. I was introduced to disabled scuba in around 1991 in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was instructed by one of the first Handicapped Scuba Association instructors. Was introduced to actually a few amputees and one spinal cord underwater, and it followed me all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, where we actually started our nonprofit there. And it's just grown. We've got a lot of disabled divers that I've taught across the U.S. And also taught a lot of buddies. We've worked really hard to have our dive team kind of be that medical dive team for our disabled divers. It's real important that not only do we have buddies that are very knowledgeable and really good divers, but they also have an understanding of the medical concerns that we should have with our divers, since we're taking spinal cord injured divers underwater. There's a lot of considerations that we need to be aware of that we visually can see, and we can actually talk underwater, believe it or not, through hand signals and blinks and things like that. So we've really worked hard to create this specialized dive team that's around the whole U.S. And when we go on trips, it's simply a phone call, an email. This is the group we're going to be taking. These are how many spinal cord injury divers we're taking, and then we have a dive team that comes along.
Now, you know, when all was said and done, and we were finished with all of Hack's coursework where he had to learn all of these things, Charlie had a new piece of equipment that he wanted to try out, and Hack volunteered. I call it the James Bond Scuba equipment, because what Charlie had recently received from some donation money that he had was a jet propulsion tank that attaches to or affixed to the scuba tank. So Hack had a chance to strap that on to his scuba tank, and using a hand control was able to turn the thrusters on to move him around through the water. What an adventure and fun time that was. Well, that's all we've got for today. We really appreciate you joining us, and Charlie, we really appreciate you guys taking us underwater and letting me tag along while you're working with Hack and his training. Blastmasters of Indianapolis, Indiana is your source for custom stone sandblasting. We etch limestone markers for gardens and home landscaping projects, to pet memorial stones and address markers. We offer brick pavers for fundraising projects and large monument stones for memorials and parks. Contact us today for your custom sandblasted Indiana limestone markers and memorial projects. Follow Indiana Outdoor Adventures online with Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Stay up to date with our exciting adventures as we're out in the field filming and meeting new people. From news updates and announcements to Twitter posts by co-host Troy McCormick. Why wait until the next season of shows when you can follow us as we're filming them? Join us online to get the most current news on Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Cave Country Canoes, located in the heart of Indiana's Cave Country, offers a variety of canoe rental trips from half-day outings for beginners to two-day adventures for the more experienced enthusiast. Our canoe trips follow the gently meandering Blue River through the wooded hills of southern Indiana. Abundant wildlife and great fishing opportunities abound. Go to cavecountrycanoes.com for more information about our canoe and kayak trips. Your next adventure is just a paddle away. Hillbilly Custom Game Calls, offering the finest and precision-made diaphragm mouth calls for wild turkey hunting. Each call is handmade and gauge-stretched for exact tension each and every time. Select from double and triple reed calls like you've never heard before. We also have an assortment of handmade wood box calls, glass and slate top pot calls, and predator calls that will make us your source for all of your custom game call needs. Look for us online at www.hillbillygamecalls.com.
Lawrence County is an unexpected destination found in the heart of southern Indiana rolling hills, offering recreational landscapes, a rich limestone heritage, and unique outdoor experiences. This area is limestone country, well known for limestone quarries and stone carving heritage. It's also the home of Spring Mill State Park, geocaches, the scenic East Fork of the White River, and underground caverns. Plan your adventure at limestonecountry.com or call 800-798-0769.
Well, let's take a little break from our scuba diving adventure and high-tech propulsion equipment, and let's take a little step back in time. Earlier this year, when I was visiting Park County, Indiana, I had a chance to stop into a little town called Bridgeton. They're one of the few places that has a covered bridge, but they've also got a really unique log cabin, and there were some folks there that were willing to fix a special lunch for us. And one of our pro staff members, David Blake, was with me, and we had a chance to have a pioneer lunch fixed on an open hearth, and the lunch was called Chicken on a String. Let's check in and see how it was made. Blanche, tell me just a little bit first about the old log cabin that we're in right here.
All right, it was my husband Seba's great-great-grandfather's, and it was over in the next township on the 80 acres that he homesteaded in 1822, and it was his first home. And it had gotten in real bad shape through the years, and the present owners told us if we wanted it, we could have it if we'd move it. And bless their hearts, we were glad they didn't destroy it. It looked like an awful big job, but it did come out much better than we thought it would. And we took it down, numbered the logs, took it down, and brought it back and reconstructed. Had to add a few logs. And of course the floor and the roof were all new because they were rotten. But mostly just old logs. We did put the fireplace back in the same wall, and it's a little bit bigger than the original had been. And it's out of Mansfield stone, which is known all over the world. We found out after we used it.
Blanche, tell me about this. Is this a pioneer cooking method? What's it called, and how does it work?
Yes, it is Pioneer. It's chicken on a string. First we put the skewers through it, underneath the wings and through the thighs. And then we truss it up with the string and tie it to the skewers. And you put your butter on it and your herbs, and then you can hang it on the fire, by the fire, with a long string with loops on each end. They go on each end of the skewer, which makes the chicken hang down. Then you wind it up, and it goes like a rotisserie. It goes one way and back the other. When it's about halfway through cooking, you turn it up the other way with the bottom skewers through the thigh, and that makes the juices run down the other way, and it keeps it nice and moist. And it will get nice and crispy on the outside, and it's delicious, really, to eat. But like I say, it takes a long time. A 3 or 3.5 pound chicken, it'll take a good 3 or 4 hours. It's not a fast process, but with the Dutch oven, you can cook much faster. Fact is, it cooks faster than a pot on the crane and over the fire. And the reflector oven cooks very fast. It's curved, and it reflects the heat and cooks the meat and the vegetables in the bottom in a very short time. And so those are the 3 methods that the pioneers used. I think the reflector oven probably came a little bit later, but for sure the Dutch ovens and the crane and the chicken on the string were pioneer.
Steve, tell me just a little bit about Bridgeton and why people come here as tourists, and about the bridge.
Well, of course, I think the bridge is one of the main attractions here, and actually it's one of the very few spots in the state, or maybe even the nation, where you can get the whole picture of the bridge and the dam and the mill in one picture, which that really sets us apart from a lot of other things. The original covered bridge was built in 1868, I think. And, of course...
Tell me about what happened to it, though.
Well, then it got burnt in, see, what year was that? It was 2005. It was burned by an arsonist.
What kind of a push was there from the community with the state to try and rebuild the bridge?
Well, of course, it was a bypassed bridge at the time, where the county would have never rebuilt the bridge. So it was built entirely by donations, and actually people that would had been here that over the years, it was amazing that they could have recollection of what transpired at the mill pond or under the below the dam there, and fishing and camping around it and so on. And they carved their names in it and all that. And so it was just a unprecedented occasion there when that we got money donated by individuals.
That's plenty. Now tell me about the speed of the turn and how you balance it. Can it turn too fast or too slow?
Well, if you make it too fast, why, it's just not going to cook as fast as if it goes slower and gets more heat on it. Then Steve fixed a rod up here between the rafters, and we can move this hook back and forth. If it's getting too brown, you can move it out away from the fire a little bit. If it needs more heat, you can put it back up by the fire, depending on how hot your fire is. You know, how you don't want to get cooked on the outside too fast. It needs to cook on the inside too. So.
But you can just let it turn, and you can go about doing other things and come back and check on it periodically.
Well, you have to stick by fairly close to keep it turned. It does slow down. So.
But you can have other things for your meal you're preparing.
Yes, yes, you can.
If we were pioneers, you could be sweeping the floor, washing the dishes,
right.
bathing the children, whatever.
Right, you could.
And then go check on the chicken or keep an eye on it, make sure it's turning.
Uh-huh.
And this was basically a one-room cabin.
Yes, most of them were. I'm sure in 1822 it was a dirt floor, and they would put the loft on the opposite side from the fireplace so the heat would go up, and then that would have been your living room, and this had been your kitchen.
I don't know. Chicken on a string's pretty tasty here. I'm enjoying it.
Isn't that? Yeah. Juice stays in good.
That's your first experience.
It is. It's the first time I've had that. And we've got biscuits that were made in a Dutch oven.
I'll tell you something. That's a camp Dutch oven.
Okay.
With the legs on
We've got the little legs on it, right?
The flat bottom ones and the dome top. Those are
Those are more indoor cooking.
Those are the Dutch ovens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the vegetables were made in the reflector. Mm-hmm. Got cooked from the reflected heat of the fire.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Well, this is really a good Indiana outdoor adventure.
All right. Good.
A tasty one.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again next time, right here on Indiana Outdoor Adventures.